Wait,
Sure.
Stacey's leaving now.
Wait, I left?
Okay.
I don't know.
No, you're okay. You're here.
We're live.
All right.
Hey.
We are live. We're live. So you're just catching a couple of minutes here on the YouTube before we really start the show. Welcome to 2021. My name is Chris. We got the two co-hosts. We're going to get started. No,
Wow, we don't get any names or anything? No name recognition?
No.
What episode is this?
91.
This is number 91.
It's a countdown. We are under 10, Stacey.
91.
And then,
Right,
and
so-
then what? You're quitting?
That's it. We out.
Out.
Then it's Stacey and Chris Power Hour.
Oh my.
Oh my
my.
God.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. All right. So
Can someone drop the show notes for me?
Hold on. I'm trying to
If
find it
you're-
myself.
if you're hanging out with us tonight, we haven't officially started the show.
Thank
So when this drops on Wednesday, none of this fun stuff will be in. It'll just be regular, boring professional development in your podcast player, right? That's how we do it.
That's how we do. That's how you do.
That's how we do it. That's how I do it. So let us know in the chat. Get involved. We're going to be talking about one word, goals for 2021. You know, we've gone through the first 6 months in the last week, it feels like. So let's dive right in. Let me
Hit the graphics.
get the graphics. If you want to hop aboard, podcastpd.com/join, and we are going to start the show. This is Podcast PD, the show that provides you with anytime, anywhere professional development. Our conversations and guests will provide you with the learning you might get in a faculty meeting or on a PD day. Except you're going to have more fun with AJ Bianco, Stacey Lindis, and me, Chris Nessie. Let's start the show. Happy New Year. No?
Happy New Year. Happy.
Arthur Jackson Bianco. What is the title of this episode?
Merry New Year. And I have to say it like that. And it's not being offensive. It's from a movie that I'm still trying to figure out if you actually know what movie this is from.
We don't.
I
say the wrong one every time.
I know. I went back and listened to this episode from 2020. And the conversation we had.
It's going to be the same as the one we're going to have right now. It's going to
Merry
be
New Year.
Groundhog Day.
Beef jerky time.
That's from Trading
welcome.
Places, right?
Yes, finally.
Yes.
6 years later, we got it. Holy monkey.
True that, yo.
Still never seen it.
I gave you homework to watch the movie.
I forgot.
Or you don't
Teachers
care.
make the worst students, AJ.
9
Anyway.
more to go.
Is it in the
Welcome to-
syllabus?
It was.
Welcome to Podcast PD. This is episode number 91. The march to episode 100 continues for your band of merry Podcast PD providers. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Bianco. AJ, what's up?
What's up? Happy
And
happy January.
happy January. Is it? Anyway,
True. Sorry.
Merry New Year to the astounding, the phenomenal, we wouldn't be here if not for her, Stacey Lindis. Good evening, Stacey. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Chris. Happy New Year, AJ.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.
It's funny
Happy
to be
New
saying
Year.
Happy New Year still on the 10th, you know? And I feel like when I go back to school on the 19th, we'll still be saying Happy New Year.
You might be saying, how was your spring break?
No, we're going back on the 19th.
No, I mean from last year.
Oh,
So much to catch up on. So we are here. We are live on our YouTube channel. We are live on our Twitch channel, and we're live on the Twitter. So we want to thank everybody who is checking in wherever you are checking in from. Come on over to podcastpd.com/live. Join in on the chat wherever you are, and we will see the comments, and we'll be able to say things like this from David Frangios, a former guest of the podcast. He's saying Happy New Year to one of our executive producers, Stephanie. By the way, Happy New Year, boss. Thanks for being here, Steph.
Keeping tabs.
wait, did you see that my EdTech Life said I need to hear AJ sing? So AJ,
Yes,
back at it.
the Fonz.
Fonz. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm not singing. Nobody wants to hear that. Just Fonz.
Now-
I'll vox
Now,
it.
real quick, I do want to say, at the top of this episode, you heard a new Education Podcast Network bumper, and that is for the newest show on the Education Podcast Network. So I want to give a big shout out and a big welcome to Brian Carpenter, host of the brand new podcast, Fresh Air. Oh my.
Fresh Air.
Wow. Sorry, Brian. Fresh Air at 5. So real quick, if you're not familiar, Brian on Twitter goes walking. Well, he walks outside and he shares it on Twitter, where he posts a video where he talks about maybe a book he's reading or podcast he's listening to, and he reflects on them each morning when he goes on this walk in video format. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And now he's starting a podcast and it's out now. So wherever you listen to podcasts, go search for Fresh Air at 5. He's got great cover art, and I'm happy to have him as a member of the Education Podcast Network.
Wait, 2 questions. So Fresh Air at 5, is this a 5 a.m. walk or a 5 p.m. walk?
He does a 5 a.m. walk.
Outside?
Yeah, outside.
In the real world?
And he's in Canada, so it's like cold.
Yeah,
Holy
like
moly.
West Coast Canada.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right. And then second question, Chris, Bougie did a shout out of the cover art. Did you do it?
I did not. He did it himself. He's a big fan of Adobe Spark, and it's really good.
He did a nice job.
So Fresh Air at 5. I am totally downloading it now. Because I
And Stacey, that's okay. There's a trailer and 1 episode as we record this. So
Yes.
you're good.
Yes,
You might
I'm an
even listen
early
to them both
adopter.
by tomorrow. Yes, early adopter.
And I don't think they'd be very long either, which is, I mean, not that they have to be, but I feel like since it's a reflection, he keeps it pretty quick, right? Because
I
It is.
like it.
He is limited on a daily basis because he, again, posted as a video. I think the limit is about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So
perfect.
if he's doing that Monday through Friday, and then I believe he's looking to release his compilation of this as a podcast on Saturdays or Sundays. So it'll be about 12 minutes. So nice, short, real quick, and it'll cover a lot of topics. So I'm
right,
excited for
follow up.
Brian. Yes.
Can I find this on Overcast? Because I don't see it.
Search for Fresh Air at 5. I forget as I'm sitting here if you have to put in the number 5 or the word 5.
I think he did the number. I think he did the word 5. One word.
Yeah, no spaces.
Oh, tricky. Okay.
Tricky. I'll coach him up on that.
You know what they say about tricky.
I found it. And that is awesome cover art. That kind of reminds me of like the sketchnote guy, Mike Rohde, like his aesthetic. Yay.
Our other executive producer in the house, Mike Brilla, checking in. And he is, Mike, you might have to call in today.
Yeah.
First, because finally a podcast. Yeah, the video clips are fantastic. And Mike, you better be hopping aboard at podcastpd.com/join. And you're the only boss I can tell this to. Do what I say. Get on here tonight and we need to have a conversation.
How's that work?
Ooh, he's not in trouble. It's all good. But you know what? We got a bunch of things going on. So later in this episode, Stacey is going to be talking about something new that we're going to be trying. And it involves you who's listening. And we're going to be doing something fun. So Stacey's going to be sharing that a little bit later in the episode before we say goodbye for today. And AJ and Stacey and I, we're going to be talking about, much to my dismay, but I'm going to participate anyway because I'm a team player. We're going to talk about one word and what I'm more excited about, setting goals for 2021. And I'm so glad I don't have to say 2020 anymore. I can just be like 2021. It's all good. All good. The year of Chicken Hawks. Anyway, if you listen to the Chase for 28 podcast, you know who Chicken Hawks is. If not, go listen to the latest Chase for 28. Chicken Hawks is our mascot for the year, AJ, right?
Absolutely. Chicken Hawk.
Speaking of chicken.
It's a person, Stacey.
Is that sports?
It's a person.
It's baseball, yes.
From 100 years ago. Look at that.
Over it.
He played 2 seasons in baseball.
I used to be a baseball manager.
Thank you, Stacey.
I hate when you do that.
But speaking of chicken, this is probably one of the worst ways to introduce somebody who's going to come on your show and be giving of your time. However, please welcome to the podcast. This person has been absent for months, and now he's back. Please welcome to the podcast.
Oh, snap!
Mr.
Yes.
Al Spiegel. Al, did you move?
Yeah.
I moved my desk.
Yeah.
No, I'm still in the, yeah. Then you know what? It really has been that long. I'm down in the, I went from the nook upstairs to the, what I would call the mud room. So I've taken that over. I've given the kids the rest of the house. This is like the only room that I have now. So I rent it out from them. So yeah.
I like it.
That looks like a heck of a space. I mean,
I was gonna say that's a mud room because like usually a mud room is like you take off your shoes and you leave your muddy shoes there.
Yeah, it's a split level. Hold on. It's a split level.
Al,
so
Al, I didn't ask for a tour. Al,
well,
I didn't tour your house.
That's where I come in from the garage, right? So I've got now the 2 monitors set up plus the laptop, and my couch is over there, and the dog. I don't know if you guys met the dog the last time. The Duke is on the podcast too. So
happy.
So yeah. No, we're I finally gotten like an actual office. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Duke Spiegel making another appearance on Podcast PD.
Yeah, he was definitely about 20 pounds lighter when you last saw him. So
yeah, so was I. No,
I was.
I feel it.
So Al, where you been? What's going on?
It's been crazy. It's I think just the kind of trying to keep up with everything, school wise, and how we've had to, we're in a 50-50. Roughly we've got, let's see, like 670 kids. Last I checked, about 300 and change are virtual, like 320 are virtual. So and then with the rest we split, day and day. One and then like AB. We had let's see, we weren't out that much, maybe like a couple days here virtual, a couple days there, but we've been for the most part in. But it's just been crazy trying to adjust, and my own children have been all over the place. They were virtual. They just went back last Monday for the first time in a month. So that was, interesting trying to work and they're, once again, they've been home. So, it's been crazy. So, but all good. Hopefully 2021 brings, anything's got to be better than last year. So anything's
can't get any worse.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, but yeah, no, it's good. All healthy. And, that part's all good. My kids are healthy. So that's, it's all that matters. So yeah, we're
excellent.
We're hanging in, AJ, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you, Al. Appreciate it, man.
Which is, I'm sure, is not new. I think that's been a couple months now, but
Yeah, it was. I started in October. I started the first week of October, so still somewhat new.
Yeah,
but it's all
so,
good.
yeah.
I pass your school every day. I wave as I drive by. So I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, definitely. I looked at the calendar. I'm like, oh, you know what? I bet you half the time I forget, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's a podcast tonight. So I think I should just jump on and say hello. So.
Al, we've been talking about you for months, wondering where you are almost every episode.
No, we have. There's like, if you go back like 2 or 3 episodes,
we do like an Al. We do an Al watch.
Virtual votive candle.
Yeah.
Sad.
So Al, since we have you back as you're making your triumphant return, what are you looking forward to in 2021? Do you do the one word thing? What's your deal?
I think taking I really think we have to take everything that has gone on, since last March, and we have to learn from it. We just can't, I think we said this months ago, it just can't be we're back to normal, because there's not going normal. We're not going to have a normal. The new normal is going to become somewhat of the same normal, because, there's a lot of things now that, as we're trying stuff virtually, it's like, oh, this isn't such a bad idea. Why didn't we do this years ago? I had to learn how to do streaming. We just did, every year Bergen hosts, we have a gala, a huge dinner dance and all that. Obviously we couldn't do that. So we did it online, which was, okay, I used a thing called OBS Studio, which is freeware, and put the whole thing together. And it was, nail biting as I did. But once it was done, it was like, this was really cool. I never thought a year ago I'd be producing streaming shows like this, but I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool. So that's really been from, in a private school where, we do things like open houses and big dinners and all that kind of stuff. Putting it all online has been a big whatchamacallit, a challenge. But, that's been, now how do we take that and what do we do with that going forward? Because now everyone's like, oh, can we stream this? Can we stream that? The thing that we always had in person, we want to stream that too. So, we're getting out and hitting more of our, our alums that live far away, and, just bringing in a bigger audience of people to stuff that normally, they wouldn't be able to get to an open house. They wouldn't be able to get to something. Thanks, Tina. It's really cool doing this stuff that, like I said, I never would have thought, a year ago I'd be producing streaming shows and all that. So that's been totally new. So
I do hope some of that streaming stuff sticks around for a while and in perpetuity. I know attendance at certain parent meetings that would normally take place in the evening that you'd be required to attend in person, that have been streamed have just been a godsend. Parents can be involved in PTA and they can be involved in Board of Ed meetings, and the things that I know my school district where I live, they have like a Donuts with Directors meeting, and it takes place at 9:30 on a Thursday. Well, I'm sorry, like the average Joe Schmo mom, dad can't be available at 9:30 on a Thursday. I don't know who has those luxury hours. And it's like, sometimes they're not thinking, but it's just nice that like maybe at 9:30 on a Thursday, if I have prep, I can go. Or I can definitely make most of the after school Board of Ed meetings and, those early evening times, or it's just easier when A, you don't have to go out, B, you and your husband can sit together, or you and your spouse, or you and your kid. Like sometimes I've invited my son, like come sit and listen to what they're talking about with like your school closing and why it's happening. Get involved. And that would be nice for that to hang out for a long time or forever.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think we're hitting, we're planning. We didn't get to do a parent teacher conference. So we're going to do, we just made a sign up genius, and we're going to let all the teachers do it on Zoom. And then the next thing is going to be, well, why do we have to come in? The old way was you would come in and sit in a classroom for, it was like a week. You went from 3 to 5 and 7 to 9. And why would you sit there for, 4 hours? And why can't I sit right here and just, talk to people virtually?
Yeah. And depending on the kids' grades, it really was a week, it's just like, oh, this is how my kid's doing it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. And the opportunity that I could, be a lot more effective. It's like, okay, it's here's the time, I want to go to the next parent, and, all that kind of stuff is, I think we're just being challenged to look at everything fresh, in a new way, and say, hey, what can we now continue once we get back to, being in school? I don't want to say normal, being in school every day. What can we do now differently that technology is, has made us see, wow, why were we even doing this, a non-efficient way? We're doing something that's really, a good thing. So.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations, back in the spring and through the fall about, what changes could come from such negativity and all these different things with technology. And I think now we're starting to see the fruits of that labor.
Yes.
I'm sure that there are districts that are going to be saying, all right, whereas normally, once a week or every couple of weeks, we need to have every administrator come to the central office and leave their schools. All right, let's do that on a Zoom meeting. We don't need to bring you all into the same room. I love the idea of, I know in my school, you got to go back for the evening parent teacher conference session. We do it after school. You have the half day. But I think it's a great opportunity, especially since I'm sure a lot of schools that maybe weren't one-to-one or even were one-to-one, they can take advantage of, all right, the kids have devices. They hopefully have the internet access, and we can conduct a lot of this stuff, whether it's we're going to continue to live stream our board meetings, or we're going to live stream, all sorts of events. Back to school night. It's challenging for some people to get childcare and, be able to make the time to get involved in the school, especially in the upper grades. So if, mom or dad can, hop on their cell phone and watch a live stream, why not? There's so many things that are hopefully going to come out of this. And I know I'm starting to see more people realize, all right, this is what we used to do. Here's what we're doing now to overcome the challenges. And oh my goodness, we can continue to do this differently, and it's still going to work and be productive. That's win-win.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I think there's going to be that expectation of, well, we're just going to stream this, right? Because everything that we did from orientation on the first day to faculty meetings to, now I think we didn't have our academic awards night in the fall. We're going to, try and, stream that. Everything that we've done, it's like, oh yeah, we can stream this. And that's going to be we got to keep streaming it even when everybody's back, because now we're hearing from alums, we've got people all over the place, people from, California or whatever, to, hey, listen, I want to see this, be involved with this that I never was able to be involved with before. We're getting that. And we're also getting people that are just, hey, like, oh, I didn't know, I enjoyed watching, Bergen football. I've never watched it before. And this year it was free on NJ.com. So that was really cool. And also, there's just all sorts of things that I think people are now starting to realize, oh, wow, this isn't so bad, because we've been doing it almost a year. So it's like, this isn't as bad as, everybody, as they thought it would be. But it's just once it got, everybody got used to it. Now it's, maybe we can, we got a bunch of teachers working from home, that's, we've got kids who are home, and there are times where, depending on if I have my kids, I might say, listen, I have to work from home today. And that's fine. Where it used to be, you have to take a day off and you have to get, you're going to lose pay or whatever. You're going to lose a sick day. Now it's like, yeah, it's fine. Work from home. Because I could be you could see I'm being productive. It's not like, they have to assume that. But if I'm on with my students for 5 periods, they can see I'm actually being productive. So.
Or just even the parents who weren't able to come to conferences because, it's inconvenient for them to come even on a half day, or, or someone who, works shift work and, coming in the evening is just not a feasible idea. Well, you know what? You get a break in 15 minutes. Most people get a 15-minute break, or can find 15 minutes to just be like, pop into a Zoom and say, hey, I have 15 minutes. Great. That's how long your conference is anyway. Let me give you all the progress indicators that you need to know about your child, and like how we're going to work together to really like boost up his confidence, keep him on the right track, whatever, keep her involved. And especially for those kids who are at risk,
I think one of the best things is it takes away that stigma from those parents who don't show up, like, oh, they're not involved. Well, sometimes they can't be involved. We don't know the backstory. Having it recorded or having it via Zoom or Google Meet, or however you want to look at it, this takes away that stigma that they are involved. Whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's just showing their face or dropping a comment for a board meeting in a Zoom, they're involved and they care. And I think that might change how we look at schools going forward and get more of that buy-in from the families who may have questions that have never been part of it because they couldn't be part of it. This could really change that relationship. Yeah,
definitely. I find that it's, my son with us IEP meetings, or, if the school's doing, if they're doing anything, and it's like, I know they did something. I watched a stream for it. I don't remember what it was before all this. They had done something on a Google Meet. I think it might have been a talent show or whatever it was. I was able to watch it from my desk, and it's like, yes, I like that. I'm still involved. I'm still involved with my kids' academics, even though I'm not there physically. I'm watching, and I know we've been doing that for years with, using Local Live and trying to stream everything we do at school, even if it's mass and we have 5 people watching. Well, those are 5 parents that wanted to watch and be involved, and we look at that as a win. So it's really, I just really hope that people just, look at this and go, yeah, this needs to become the norm. It's okay if you're not feeling great and you want to work from home, that's not taboo anymore. That's okay if we just, we're working from home, or if I'm traveling and I'm stuck, or so it's not like I don't have to be physically present in the building to teach or to learn, and I think that's what a lot of people, hopefully that sinks in.
Absolutely. Al, before we let you go, and thank you for returning and, giving us a few minutes tonight. It's certainly been great to catch up. What are you looking forward to the rest of this school year? Any predictions for what you're going to be doing, or what you have control of, or just shots in the dark? What do you got?
Well, I definitely, when I started, this is my second year that I'm moderating. We have a TV station at school, and we broadcast like morning announcements, that kind of stuff. And that has become a huge now, like I said, with the streaming, and I'm interested to see where that job for me goes, because I've, it's something I didn't go to school for. I don't have experience with, but I'm just, oh, wow, this is really cool. And I really think we're going to look at, I think it'll be, not even academic wise. I think we're all going to start looking at, hopefully we'll look at our own health in a different way, that it's, that it's really important to stay healthy, and it's important to wash your hands, and it's important to, cover your mouth when you cough, all the stuff that we just, oh yeah, it's important. It's flu season, whatever. But now I hope that we really, continue to think about, leave the signs up that say, yeah, make sure you wash your hands for 20 seconds and make sure, if you don't feel well, stay home, because how many people, I don't want to lose a sick day. So if I'm, I got a sniffle, or, I got something, I'm going to go to work. But if if everybody agrees that I can be productive at home, I can teach from home, or I can work from home, I think that, to me, that's something that I'm really hopeful for, that we, from a a work standpoint, that you don't have to be physically present to be productive and to work, to teach or to learn. So that's my big hope for all this, in addition to, just being able to get back to, not, I feel weird when I go out without a mask on. I don't know. Like I go out of my office and I'm like, oh, it's like I feel like I'm walking around naked. I don't have a mask on. So, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I think we're on the right track. It's just, it's going to take more time, but I think we're, I'm just hoping that this stuff stays. We embrace all the different ways we've had to do stuff, and we keep going with that. So.
And for those listening on the podcast side, while Al is not wearing a mask, he is fully clothed right now.
Yeah, not only am I fully clothed, I will want to point out to Christine that I'm wearing my my Bayonne Fire Department T-shirt. Shout out to Christine, who lives in the hood of Bayonne. So throwing that out there. But I guess I am. Well, you know what, Chris? You think I'm fully clothed?
We're just gonna go fully clothed now. Yeah, we're gonna go fully. We're gonna go fully clothed.
I'm throwing it out there, like
Al, no, don't throw it out there. Al, are you still on Twitter?
Yes.
And what is that handle?
It's Al Spiegel, like the catalog. SPIEGEL.
Nice, Al. Thanks for a few minutes. Happy New Year.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
you too.
Popping on.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop in again. I miss this. I really do. Actually, it is invigorating to have this kind of discussion. So yeah, I'll pop in again.
There you
Same.
go.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Al.
Yep. Bye.
Nice. And this also just came in. Christine said that Hoboken is not the hood.
Bayonne.
Bayonne. What did I say?
You said
Hoboken.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. Hoboken is the hood. Bayonne is not the hood. Okay, there we
Hoboken's
go.
the hood.
I don't know.
I don't think Frank Sinatra would say that.
I don't think anybody in Hoboken would say that either.
Not in the 20s. Look, I don't know. Sometimes stuff just comes out. Anyway. So as we're rolling along, again, if you want to hop aboard, podcastpd.com/join. We're talking about one word. We're talking about goals for 2020. And I think we're going to get yelled at. Coming up next.
He yelled at us. Brilla.
Mike Brilla in the house. What's going on, Mike? Happy New Year. What's up?
Happy New Year. I was all set to enjoy my night watching the Steelers get thrashed, as they are right now. Hopefully, my principal's a big Steelers fan, but I got called out, so I figured I had to come on.
All right, so Mike Brilla, you are here, and we called you out because you're doing something new. What you doing, Mike?
So I got, I guess, browbeat into trying out hitting record, right? Just hit record, I think. Wasn't that the slogan earlier in the year?
Who would make you do a thing like that?
I can't imagine.
Really? Hold on, time out. When it comes to podcasts, I am taking names and kicking asses so far this year.
Yeah, so I decided I'm going to start my own podcast with the help of Chris. And the persuasion and a lot of the back end endless answering of my questions and running ideas by him, calling it my best lesson and social studies. And I think it's along the lines of somebody's going to tell our story, what happens in our class, so it might as well be us. And I want to hear from other social studies educators what's working well in their class, because I like to steal things.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel, steal it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So it's my best lesson in social studies.
Yep.
I feel like you could franchise that, right? Like my best lesson in 5th grade, my best lesson in ELA, my best lesson in math.
So great minds. There's Chris had already talked about, we talked about that. And he actually, I kind of put the bug in his ear for somebody in the Voxer group that might be really good. Teaches 8th grade ELA in the New England area, right? If I remember correctly.
Tracy?
Right? That's what was my immediate.
Call her out right now.
Tracy from Rhode Island.
Awesome.
He's probably
We are
listening.
paging Tracy from Rhode Island.
I mean, she'd be perfect for it. So
That'd be brilliant.
that's the thought.
You mean brilliant?
It's like
Okay.
Gotten the pasta joke before. Never got that one.
So, Mike, for people who don't know, we're live here. It's Sunday, January 10th. Is there content available for your podcast?
Kind of, yeah. So I literally just put it out yesterday, I think was the first one, like my intro episode. It's not yet on Apple Podcasts. I just put it in to be approved this morning. So it's out. There's later this spring is when I'm going to start putting out the interview. So what my plan is to have every week release one. 1 week it's an interview. The next week, just kind of my own ramblings and thoughts. But I have lined up a couple guests. AJ said he'd be more than willing to come on. I know you guys had Jim Sturdivant on earlier. I hit him up. He was another one of the big influences. I tried to get him. So if you know anybody else, I'm all
Chris is a
ears.
social studies teacher.
I know. Oh, don't worry. He's in the pipeline. He doesn't know it yet.
He doesn't know yet. So
sure
Mike, where can people find the podcast so that way I can include that in our show notes and help you promote it and share it around?
So Chris, when I put it on Libsyn for the first time, where do people find it? I know it's on. I put the link out on Twitter. It's on Spotify, I believe, right away, right when it first publishes. I got to ask my guy. I don't know.
All right, so we will get that. So I'll still coach Mike up a little bit more. So in the show notes for this, out at podcastpd.com/91, we will have a link to where you can check out Mike's podcast. It will be on Apple Podcasts right now. It's on Spotify,
Yep.
And eventually, My Best Lesson Social Studies will be available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure you write
Mike,
that
while
down.
we still have you.
You can do that.
Yeah,
You can copy that. Just be like, so just in case anybody's wondering, this is what I have to say.
Looking for it now. Hey, Mike, real quick, you said on Twitter this weekend, you gave a shout out that you were using Pop Goes Classical on Spotify.
Yep.
How are you using it in your social studies classroom?
So I'm actually not in the classroom again anymore this year. I was supposed to go back this year, but then this whole pandemic thing hit, and they figured it might be a good idea to have the tech coach again for another. So I was literally in my office researching really boring stuff that I didn't feel like researching. So I don't even know what made me think about it, but I remembered you guys talking about it, so I had to put it on. And yeah, I never really bobbed my head to orchestra music, but
it's good, right?
It's awesome.
Kind of catchy, and then just like
it absolutely is.
Kids sit there and they try to figure it out. And I remember last year I would play it, and then a Queen song would come on, and I had 2 girls in my class who absolutely adored Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like, "Oh, this is," and then they'd totally be like, and then they're like typing and getting all into it, and it's just fun.
See now, but for me, like I don't know. You guys had talked about how since the words aren't there, it's not as you can put it in the background. But I found myself still like it definitely distracted me with the words.
I sing them in my head. Yeah.
But
I feel like if the kids don't know the songs well enough, it's not as bad. But for you, it's a little more entertaining, right? Than just listening to Beethoven or Bach or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And then you have to check out Chuck Loeb, because there's nothing there. And so for me, I put that on for my kids this week, and they're like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's Chuck Loeb. Do you like it?" They're like, "It's not bad." And then but I remember my first graders loving it ages ago, or my second graders loved it ages ago. And it was just nice. It kind of brought me back to my first years teaching, when I would play Chuck Loeb on a CD in a CD player. And I was just like, oh, this was my jam. These little people and writing workshop where like words are not huge and ideas are second grade level ideas.
Yeah.
I like my little kids.
That's funny. I was just cleaning out our basement. I came across the CD booklet I had in my classroom from my first couple of years of teaching.
That's Chris, that would be a fun episode to have. Like, I remember when I used in my classroom, like chalk.
All right. Write it down, Stacey. We what episodes do you want to do?
Sounds like episode 92 to me.
Mike, since we're talking about, goals and things like that, do you do the one word thing? You have any goals or something you want to accomplish this year?
So I've never done the one word thing. I am a pretty goal oriented person.
Good.
So I think if I did a one word, it'd be start. I just got finished reading Super Better. I don't know if you ever heard. It's like game based learning, but then it's like a game based like lifestyle type thing. But the one takeaway I took is like you can't finish anything till you start it. So it's kind of like I'm one of those people who once I start, I'm usually good with keeping up with habits, but it's getting started is what kind of is tough for me. So that's what made me jump in with the podcast. So just start.
I love it.
Thanks.
The problem is a lot of people don't start. And, they get afraid to take that first step. And if that's you, not you, Mike, but you who's listening, you don't have to be great to start. But if you want to get great, you gotta push go. You gotta just hit record. You gotta take that step. And, it doesn't matter how fast you go, whether you run or you walk, forward is forward. So I think people forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
Just jump in. Good for you. I like that word, start.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good job. Good work.
Thanks.
It's a good word. You got anything else for us, Mike?
No, I got nothing other than the Chicken Hawk. How about that's impressive. That's he was a Yankees and Phillies connection. So like I'm 100% honest. As a Phillies fan, I listened to the first episode of the Chase for 28 and I recommended it to my Yankees fan coworkers, but I don't know. Now that Chicken Hawk's your word, I might have to give it another listen. We'll see.
You know what? Maybe you could come on and we could do a little retrospective here many years after the events of 2009.
Oof. I was in right field in game 5 for that one. Johnny Damon.
Don't worry, Mike. It's just as painful for AJ and I. And we can't go too much further or else we're going to lose Stacey.
I have no idea what's happening.
This is like, who are the Yankees?
I knew it's, I was mesmerized by the pinstripes. I used to be a baseball manager. Shut
up. Or as the great Al would say, and he's here watching.
That's hot.
Mike, please let us know where people can find you on the Twitter.
It's at Mr. MR_Brilla, BRILLA.
Nice. And again, everybody, check the show notes. We're going to have a link to Mike's awesome new podcast and get in now because according to Stacey, we're going to have a franchise.
Early adopters.
Nice. All right, Mike.
All right.
AJ, wish him a happy new year.
Merry New Year. No, my great seeing you, man. Good luck with the podcast and whatever you need. We're here to reach out.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks for joining us and all the support. Take care.
Yes, thank you. All right. So we've had 2 awesome guests and some 2 quick conversations, but I think we should talk about our goals. And again, if you want to jump aboard, please come on over podcastpd.com/join, or you can drop things in the chat and we will pull them on screen. But Stacey, AJ, I'll go first because I'll put it out there. I hate one word.
I want to know why you hate it.
Because I think it's such, to me at this point, it's kind of a gimmick. It's not January until you see all of the blog posts and all this stuff. And a few weeks, like January 2nd or 3rd. So like 2 weeks ago, I put out a tweet because I don't know. I don't like reading or seeing these posts because it's like you put the post out there. I don't know. I guess that makes you feel good, but I know that like Stacey, you remember your word from year to year. AJ, you remember your word from year to year. When I gave a crap about this, I could remember my word from year to year, but what do most people do with one word throughout the year? I don't see any blog posts in December reflecting on, did I live up to this word? Did the word make an impact? I never see that end of year stuff. So I put out on Twitter, hey, all you people posting your posts about one word, let's play a game. Keep it to yourself, and let's see if we can guess your one word based on how you presented yourself and lived your life. And we'll play a guessing game in December 2021.
Well, now it makes me not want to have this show.
That's okay.
Keep it to yourself.
You guys can share it, or do we want to play the game? No, you guys can share.
I already shared mine.
Where'd you share it?
Reflect Ed.
See, who cares? It doesn't matter. She don't even know where you shared it.
I didn't listen.
Stacey's like, what's Reflect Ed?
No, I know what that is. I get that one.
I see what you're saying, Chris, and I understand that it does become a gimmick, but for the people who
truly believe,
create the word and live by a word for a year, that's why you remember it, right?
Okay, and real quick, just let me also throw in too. Then you also have the other subset of people who they do their hashtag one word, and it's a blog post with like 5 words.
All right, leave them alone.
Well, that's not one word.
We're not bashing people. We're not bringing the negativity. So for those people who do that and they love their one word and they live by their one word and they want to share their one word, those people are trying to influence, correct?
Sure.
So they're pushers just like you are. So
they just have a different agenda.
They have a different agenda, right? So some of their words are very fancy. Your word doesn't have to be fancy. Something you live by.
It's not.
Right? Good.
I live by it.
Can you make your word fancy?
No,
just
Alexa, what are synonyms for the word push?
See, but that's it. Like,
Alexa, shut up. Alexa, stop.
It's really nice. Sorry about that, Alexa. If you're listening.
Sorry for everyone else's Alexia.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I set off your
How many times
Amazon
did you just say
lady
that
on
word?
YouTube. I know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But Chris, I remember when your one word was push, right? Or pusher. And like, I still think of you that way because you're always pushing, right? Like you're pushing yourself, you're pushing others to hit record, to be better. You push me. Like, I just think that like, that is like such a significant quality and such a significant character trait for who you are. Like, I think for you, it's not so much that you don't live by that word. It's that you don't necessarily need to choose a new word every year because you continue to do that thing, right? Like you continue to push others to be better, to try new things, to experiment, to, get out of their comfort zone. And that's a good thing.
Doing it well.
And that's fine.
Wow.
So maybe for you, it's not about creating a new word. Like, AJ, I don't know. Did you actually read, like, I know there are like 2 or 3 different one-word books out there. Did you read any of them?
No, I looked into John Gordon's book, One Word, but I wasn't feeling it.
Right. And I read that one ages ago.
I looked into it. I was getting emails from him about like what it would be like. And I figured his email summed up the book pretty well, to be honest with you. I mean, you can't go any deeper than it's one word about you and what it brings out in you for a year.
Right. And it's for a year. And that's his intention, right? His intention is that it lasts 1 year and then it's like, okay, move on to something else. But I don't necessarily, right? It's like almost anything else, right? Like a hyperdoc or whatever, or like bullet journaling. You take what works for you and you make it your own and then it's yours, right? So use your one word however you want to use it. If you don't have a one word, Chris, what is your goal for 2021?
So it can be like a sentence.
Make it a mission. Make it a mission statement.
All right. My mission is to continue to inspire others to do things that they want to try and do, whether it's podcasting, YouTubing, writing. I want to help people. And if that means I need to be a pain in the butt and push you, I'm going to push you. If you're looking for accountability, feedback at chrisnessy.com. Let's start talking.
Right. So like just from that sentence, like I'm pulling out one word that I think would work for you. Like you are
like relentless.
No,
annoying.
like inspiration.
Annoying.
Right? I did pain in the butt. I was like, how do you make that one word? There you go, AJ. It's one word. Annoying.
PETA.
PETA. Oh,
But, like,
Peter. Anyway,
but just think about like you said, inspiration, you said do, like these are words that other people can adopt. Like maybe you don't adopt them and that's fine. You have a whole sentence and a phrase. Like when my kids and I do one word, because we go through this in a hyperdoc with my students, and then we share out so that 22 other kids are hearing each other's one words and they can help each other stick with it. Did it work well for 2020? Absolutely not. I mean, the world was a different world last year, but it really is my intention that for the next, I think we have about 100 days left of the school year, for the next 100 days to kind of really work. Don't look at me that way. What?
It's a lot of days.
It's a lot of days. So for the next 100 days, here's
now,
what we're doing.
You said a lot. I'm thinking, boy, the year's flying by.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, I shared my one word hyperdoc that I had remixed from somebody else's one word hyperdoc. I shared it with my colleagues at school, and like the one teacher was like, "This is so great. Thanks for sharing. How do we keep them accountable? Like, what do you do with this so that it's not just a January gimmicky thing?" And I think the point is that we do kind of make it front and center, and that we revisit and we rethink, and it's about being mindfulness. And like I was listening to guided meditation on the Calm app, and she doesn't do New Year's resolutions, and she talks about like, what is your intention? And like that's what one word is all about, right? Like, what is your intention for the year? Because I don't believe in resolutions. Like, I tried to give up all these things for January. For 21 days, I was supposed to give them up. And then something happened. My best friend dropped off chocolate chip cookies at my door, and I had chocolate, and I wasn't supposed to have chocolate for 21 days. I made it to day 6. Ugh, that's killing me, right? And they were good cookies and well worth it. And so I can restart, but so that goes into my word last year was commit, right? And so like Mike said, his was start, and I think that has like a similar feel to it. This year's word is synonyms. Right. This year's word is achieve, right? Because I'm a really good starter. I can start lots of things. I don't necessarily bring everything to its endpoint, right? Like we don't always get there. And like so
listening to podcasts,
like I was blogging for a while. I stopped doing that. I mean, that wasn't last year, but there were some things that I did commit to that I did finish last year. And like, those are the things that I'm really proud of for 2020. And so I really like what I commit to this year. I really do want to try to achieve more of the things that I start. And so my word for 2021 is achieve. And that's my reason why.
AJ,
what was that? That was the
remix.
That was the remix.
That was the remix.
What the hell did you just say?
All right, that's a lot of sounds from me. Plain and simple, and if you listen to Reflect Ed, so this is already like a spoiler. You already know my word, but I know nobody's listening. So, it's determined. My word is determined, and the reason for that is just because, I could do a lot of different things, and I can say a lot of different things. Like I had words from years ago that was, vision and focus and blah, 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 nonsense. And it took me away from like my overall
Did you get
goal.
those words from Lens Crafters?
I did. I was standing outside. I said, what? Let me write these down real quick. That was good one. I like that.
That was funny.
Maybe comedian could be your word for next year.
Funny.
Oh my
God. So yeah, I'm determined because it kind of sums up the things that I want to do in a variety of different ways. Determined to be a better father, be a better husband, be a better leader, be a better friend, be a better son, so on and so on. So I'm determined to just make everything work the way it's supposed to work in my life. Hopefully it will.
Here's a great word. Both of you, good words. And I think you both do it whatever the right way is. I think you do that because I know you, I see what you do. But nope, lost it.
It was powerful. You really had me there for a moment.
But you're right, Chris. Not everyone gets past having a one word.
I think that's my big issue.
I was laughing at Chris. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, Stacey, because some people just have that word and it's just a word. And it's not a word you live by. It's a word you find
and publish.
I don't want to say publish because again, I don't want to put people out there like that because one year I blogged about whatever word it was. I think it was the word focus. And
did
Okay,
you
we're
focus
yelling
that
at you.
year?
Did you
it was
focus?
focused. Yeah, it was focused. Like,
But did you focus?
for that period of time that I was focused on whatever I was trying to accomplish? Yeah, I was focused.
That's,
but like that
then
for
I'm
me, like that's my thing. Like I know my focus. I know what I'm focused on now. I know my plan. Luckily, my plan is in place right now, so I'm good. So,
my thought came back. Here's the issue that I have is that people choose the one word and they find a word that they can then turn around and apply to everything.
But that's the point.
That is the point. That's why it's one word.
Well, then maybe they should change what this is all about. Not
what do you want it to
multiple
be about?
words. I don't know. I think people would be better served if they really dug their heels in on one thing.
Go on.
Where get better at one thing, start one thing, focus on one thing. And maybe it's not for an entire year. Maybe we set, instead of a 12-month goal, set a 3-month goal or a 8-week goal and reevaluate more often. You know, I know Stacey and other people I know, and AJ, I think we've talked about it too, the idea of, SMART goals. I'm not going to define it, but that's what kind of jumps into my head. Like, let's set little benchmarks that are, maybe we can achieve them, maybe we can't, but at least we can set these little checkpoints up. All right, if we're going to set our one word on January 1st, let's check in on March 1st. Where am I at with that word? What have I done in the last, 2 months to do that word? All right.
But then why
achieve
can't
my
you
goal?
just apply that word to the next thing?
I think you could get more done if you evaluated more often. So let's say the goal is, Stacey, what's your word again? Achieve?
Achieve.
So let's say on March 1st, you have achieved a number of things. Okay. And you can actively and consciously, and you've got evidence of, I've achieved this. Cool. Maybe I can obviously continue to achieve, but maybe there's something else I can also focus on as well, that I can also, like, I'm going to say, dig my heels on and try to do more of, do better at, be more conscious about. I'm still going to achieve, but because now I kind of got that. It's part of my routine. I'm doing these things. What can I devote some attention and energy to that maybe I wasn't at that point?
But then
What
I'm
else can
achieving
I do?
something else. That's the point. For me, right? I see what you're saying. You're saying like one goal, accomplish, another goal, accomplish, right? So your focus is more theme-based, right? Like I'm going to focus on getting, like say for you, your goal is to get 5 new shows on the Education Podcast Network, right? Like that's your goal. And then once you've done that, you move on to your next goal. Whereas like, I think like that to you, like that for me, like I would think like your word is helper, right? Or help. Like you said that in your mission statement as well. That was another word that I plucked out as like, this could be Chris's one word. Because Chris, I think of you as a helper. I think of you as a pusher. I think of you as someone who's inspiring, right? So like when you said all of those things, they were in your mission statement and they're applicable. But I'm not saying you have to have a one word. I'm just saying like, if I were you and I'm like thinking about your sentence and your statement, then
maybe people should write mission statements for the year, which would be a combination of
I think
these
that
3,
is some
4,
of
and
the
5
work.
words.
I think that's some of the work in the one word book. Now I read that book. I did read that book like back in 2013, 2014. So it's been a while since I've read it. And maybe I need to revisit to reassess what John Gordon's intention was, right? Because it has been a while, but I know it's working for me. Is it working completely? No. I mean, like I said, I committed to things and I didn't always see them through. But the things that I did commit to, I was super happy that I accomplished, right? Like I committed to running every single day in the summer from when school let out until school started. So however many days that is, and I believe it was like 62 or something like that. Like I ran every day in the summer and I ended it with a 10K. For me, that was a big commitment that had a period at the end with a check mark, like check done. And so I want more check marks. I've proven to myself that I can commit to things. I have not proven that I can bring things to fruition or get to the end point or check things off. And so that to me is important. And I think for me, that's also part of that reevaluation that I do. Bye, Paul. Have a good night. And I know that you wrote like having an accountability partner helps reevaluate throughout the year. I think that's part of it too, is having someone who knows what your goal is. And that's why for my kids, it's important that they hear each other's one word. That's why for me, at the end of the year, I do reevaluate, but I also only put it out here on this show. I don't really talk about my one word outside of school or outside of my classroom or with close friends.
Yeah,
Right?
but also, Chris, you're putting people in a box. So you can't have everybody doing the same thing. So not everybody wants to reevaluate. Not everybody is going to spend that time and look at it every 3 months. Everybody wants to look at it after a year. After a year, this is my one word, and I did all of these things to fit that. Then they can focus on what they're going to do for next year. So, I mean, however they do it, it works for them.
And like what I'm hearing you say and what I've heard you say for the past few years is that it doesn't work for you. And that's okay. Right? You have a mission statement, right? This year, I want to inspire and push more people outside of their comfort zones and help them accomplish their goals, right? I know I'm paraphrasing and I'm not doing all of your statement justice, but those were the key takeaways that I had when I listened to it the first time, right? And I feel like you do that every year. So then for me, it's like, well, what are you going to do differently? Right? Like if I'm using your train of thought, like how is this year going to be different than last year then? Or years prior?
I don't know that it has to be. I just think that for maybe people like me, I know what I want to do and I want to get better at those things. So I think I've developed the idea of what the mission statement is, and I just want to do whatever I can control to do that better or more of it.
Right. Yeah, and like it does go back to what Paul was saying too about accountability partners, and I think that like this is where having your mastermind group is helpful, right? Like, or having like a coach in your life, or a best friend that you can have, work through this with you, or all the things that you guys have, right? Like that's important, and I just think that. It's like Chris said, or like AJ said, it does not neatly need to fit into a box. And so I think if we keep that in mind, one word can work for people, can work for most of us. And if it doesn't, then you have a mission statement like Chris does. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Look where we took this episode. You were not happy with it. Now look at this. You're smiling. You're loving this. Mission statement. Start working on it for 2022.
And I think, Chris, now I'm going to push you to write a book about having a mission statement, how one word is just so passé that for 2021 and this new decade, we're going to have a mission statement. What's your mission statement?
Wow.
I am never writing a book. Ever.
Push.
How about a PDF?
All right, maybe a PDF.
Pamphlet?
All right, if you don't know,
one-pager?
you want it. No. If you want to know what I'm really good at flyers, but if you want to know what I think, go subscribe to the House of Ed Tech. Listen to PodcastPD. Okay? Don't need to write anything down.
Poor Dave.
Sorry, Dave.
Nothing against you, Dave. He doesn't even like reading them. He's not going to write one.
Talking about your thing.
Seriously. Look, he could do a podcast and tell you just exactly what he's thinking, and he can update it next week when he has a new thought on that thing.
Right. It's a book on tape.
That's right. More people need to hit record to put their thoughts out there.
Well, great. That's what we need. More podcasts.
Christine, I also wonder when Chris sleeps. Yep. He's always doing something.
Now, time out. I have been very intentional for at least the last 2 years of getting more sleep. And we've chronicled, my health journey, my sleep journey.
I pushed you on that one.
I am in a much better, yes, you both helped me because you're my two best friends in education. So we've said that, not making you cry this time. I'll wait for later in the year. Anyway, real quick. So Stacey is going to be sharing this new thing we want to try over the next couple of episodes and, throughout 2021 with Podcast PD. But before that, we want to let you know that we appreciate you coming out here, listening to Podcast PD when we live stream it. We appreciate you being subscribed. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Go to podcastpd.com/go on your device, and it will take you where you can subscribe to the podcast. You can subscribe on YouTube, connect with us on the socials, all those wonderful things. And if you get value from these conversations, we do have the opportunity for you to become an executive producer, like a Stephanie, like a Mike. And if you go to podcastpd.com/executive producer, you can support the show for $5 a month, or you can do it for $50 per year. Those who support the show, we send you a sticker. We'll get you a mug, a t-shirt, depending on your level of support. And that helps to keep the lights on and lets us do some really cool things behind the scenes and in front of you guys as well. So if you'd like to support the show in that way, go to podcastpd.com/executive producer. But at the very least, if you enjoy this conversation that we have from episode to episode, go tell somebody else about the show. Send them to podcastpd.com/go. Show them how to subscribe on their phone. Have them come out here on a Sunday night when we are live. We share it on Twitter. We love to engage with the chat. We'd love to have you guys and gals come on here and talk with us. So it's always a fun time, and we really, really appreciate it. And I know we've said it, but who doesn't like to hear that they're appreciated? So to the listeners, thank you so much.
Well said. We love you.
We love you.
The listeners, they don't love me.
Oh, no.
Aw,
I was definitely talking to the listeners.
Yeah, there you go.
I love everybody. That'll be my one word for 2022.
Play some Red Hot Chili
Love.
Peppers right now. Let's go.
What's that?
A little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers is a song I love.
I know. I didn't know what you were saying, though.
Just go to the next segment.
Stacey, what are we trying that's new on the
All right.
podcast?
So I was thinking as we were prepping for the 12 Days of Podcast PD, which I thought were awesome. I listened to some of your episodes. I will admit that I did not listen to all of them, but I listened to some of them. Revisionist history, the Inside Out leader.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm just making faces over here, Stacey. I believe you.
All
Add it
right.
to your 2,192.
It's more than that. Anyway, so my thinking was that I missed the roots of the earlier days of Podcast PD when it was just a blog post about like podcasts you should be listening to and how it turned into a Twitter chat. And we are not revisiting that. But I would like to revisit some of the work that we do in the summer if you're in our Voxer group. And in our Voxer group, we try to listen to one episode each week in the summer. And sometimes we do it with great commitment and we achieve all of the weeks of summer. And then other times we kind of get busy. I had a pretty extreme kind of summer where running was just the activity that I needed to do to get out of my head. And so that worked for me. And having conversation was not something that I needed. It did not bring me what I needed in the summer. So this past summer's Voxer group was not as successful as years in the past, but we were hoping that what we could do is highlight or spotlight a podcast that we all listen to, and then maybe once a quarter or once every 2 months or something like that. We have not come up with a definitive timeline, have we, gentlemen?
Not yet.
That we would reconvene, and anyone who listened to the show that we recommend comes and has a little chat with us. And, if your way of participating, and, as we talked with Al earlier, people's participation levels are very different lately. So if you participate with us on Twitter, that's great. If you participate with us on Instagram, we'll be sure to highlight your comments and your thinking about the episode. But what we'd really enjoy is if you came onto the show with us and really just hashed out the ideas that are shared. I think, I've shared a lot that I really just enjoy having educational conversation. It's where I learn and grow the most. And, just sitting, I know we're not having a lot of ed camps, but just sitting in the cafeteria at an ed camp is really where I do my best learning, right? If I sit down with someone. So, if we sit down around one podcast every few months and we hash it out and you join us, much like Mike Brilla did and Al Spiegel. And, I'm still waiting to have Christine on the show. So this is your invitation, Christine. I know you listen to us every other week, and I know you listen to some of our recommendations. So we want all of you listeners to listen to what we recommend and then come join us for a conversation about it. And it's, the podcast
In
PD
essence,
you're learning.
In essence, it's like a book club, but we want to focus on a podcast and just kind of chat about it. Just put your wine in a Jets cup and it's all good.
And early on when we were doing this, what Blab, right? Did we use Blab?
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
We did this so long ago on Blab where it was much like this. I was on screen in the early days and we would just talk about a show or a whole podcast repertoire.
Here's how long ago and how fast technology moves. I would be willing to bet like $1, okay, that nobody watching right now knows what Blab is. So there you go. Stephanie thinks it's a fun idea.
Oh, good. So she'll join us.
And Christine said she thinks she can do that. So, all right. Christine is locked in. She's made a multi-year commitment to be a part of this program.
Multi-episode anyway.
Multi-episode, yeah.
I have selected our first episode that we are going to discuss. And it's a podcast that AJ actually recommended probably 2 years ago. And we're going to revisit it. And it's one that came up in my 12 Days of PodcastPD. So we're going to go back to the Mindful Educators. We're going to start with episode 1.
Wow. Why would you do that? Sorry.
Because there are only 40 some episodes. And I really
do him and his nonsensical buttons. Sorry, Stacey. Please continue. Mindful educators.
Yes, that was
Aaron
not
and
very
Dave.
mindful, Chris. Be present, please.
I got to be present when I'm trying to push the buttons and no one to fit them in. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so we are going to go back to episode 1, which aired on July 3rd of 2019, where Dave and Aaron talk about how did we get here. That is the name of their episode. And I remember, because I did listen to this one already, they dropped a lot of knowledge bombs in there and just like things that I remember being excited about that episode, putting things into practice right away. And so our conversation is going to stem around this episode, your ideas about what Dave and Aaron are sharing. Maybe we can have them on and they can talk about the show with us. So that's a shout out to them if they listen. And hopefully the conversation will spark some ideas. And the episode, even if you don't join us, will help you in the classroom in the same way that it helped me when I first listened back in 2019.
Now that I've heard you talk about the episode, Stacey, I believe are behind the scenes conversations, and I'll just bring them into the forefront here. So if you're talking about this specific episode today, we would look to potentially have that conversation in our next episode, right? So in a couple of weeks, we want to spend a little portion of time talking about the episode so people have a couple of weeks to listen and, hopefully chime in when we're back live on Sunday, January 24th.
Is that when we were looking to do it, or okay, that's fine by me.
Let's try it. Let's try the 2-week turnaround. So
I like a good
that's
2-week
kind of like their homework. We'll have a link in the show notes for this episode. I would even go so far. If you are subscribed to this, you know that with the 12 days of Podcast PD that for 2020, we sent you the actual episodes. So for 12 days, you got a different episode you could listen to. I will do the same thing with the episode Stacey just talked about. So you'll get this episode that we're doing right now. And the very next thing you get will be this episode of the Mindful Educators. So you don't have to go subscribe to it. We would love for you to go subscribe to it, but we're also going to send it to you. It's our gift to you to give you the episode so you can listen to it and then hopefully come back out here to podcastpd.com/live and join us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, January 24th, where we'll devote a good portion of the episode to talking about this topic and what they talk about there.
I love it. I like that. I think it's a good a good amount of time for people to listen. I've dedicated an entire new field notes to taking notes on podcasts. So that will be the first one that goes in there.
Nice. And I will also tease here that we are, and I'm talking to you, the listener, we are also in the process of working on getting the CEO of Teachers Pay Teachers, Joe Holland, as an upcoming guest on the podcast, which will probably happen in February or March, right here in the early stages of 2021. So if you've got questions about Teachers Pay Teachers, I know we want to have a conversation about TPT, and send us your thoughts, your feedback as we look to construct that episode and that conversation. You can send that over to feedback@podcastpd.com. That is our email address that we all check. So you can certainly share your thoughts on Teachers Pay Teachers as we look forward to planning that episode for you guys as well, coming up in a few weeks. The other thing that I want to drop before Stacey waves her magic wand, and she's looking at me like, but wait, there's more. Oh, she's got the wand ready. Here we go. We've been talking about this for quite some time, but we actually, over the last, 2 months, never actually said it out loud. But we want to have a textual relationship with you where we will text you and you could text us. Remind is going to power our texting initiative, where we again want to continue to build community with you and other people who listen to this show. So you can text at PodcastPD to 81010. Stacey and AJ are modeling what this looks like, though they don't have to do it for real because they've both already done it. So go in your little text messaging app, text at PodcastPD to 81010, and you can join our texting community where you'll be able to text the three of us. We can send you information and we can start to build community here in 2021. So that's all we have for this episode. Stacey, wave it.
It's bewitching hour. So let's say goodbye, Christopher.
Goodbye, Christopher.
Say goodbye, AJ.
Goodbye, AJ.
Goodbye, Podcast PD. Remember to listen to Mindful Educators.
There we go. There's a little time break. So everything we say now, we're still live, but won't be in the episode that you hear when this drops as a podcast. But thanks everybody for coming out tonight. This is a fun episode.
This was awesome.
Much love. Appreciate it. Appreciate you out there.
Shout out to, hold on, time out. Shout out to Christine. She's the first person to join the texting. I just got the notification.
I got two. I got Christine and Mike Brilla.
Wait, I didn't get a notification.
Do you have your notification?
Oh, there it is. Christine joined. Yep. And
there
Mike
you go.
Brilla.
Okay. There you go. All right.
Yeah, I had to turn it on because my parents were communicating with me and reminded. I was like, I need to see this if they're going to talk to me this way.
Nice. Let's see. Who came out in the chat tonight? Thank you to Paul O'Neill. Christine came out. Dr. Dan Kreinus was in the house for a bit. The Fonz was here.
Hey.
Dave was here. Stephanie was here. Who else? Tim was here because his alarm went off and he knew to tune in. Because how cool is that Tim has an alarm on his phone to come on and watch us?
Really?
Yeah, he said he went on during the break and we weren't live and he was upset.
Yeah.
We took a break on the break. We were on a break. What's that from, AJ?
Friends.
Even I knew that.
Seriously. Don't quiz me with that stuff. You don't know.
I
am never recording anything with you or for you again.
Right? It's horrible.
I didn't even know he was recording at that point.
First things in this.
I'm a white guy.
Oh, great. The one that you have about yourself.
Not a CrossFit.
There you go. There's another one.
I mean, I love Chris Nessie.
Chris Nessie.
Thanks, Matt.
Is that Matt?
Yeah.
I love that I know people's voices.
Isn't it fun?
AJ, I thought of you tonight.
Thank you.
I was at my friend's house and we were, my friend goes, friend goes, Stacey, do you know what this thing called like Pal? I was like, uh-huh. I was like, what is it? Because she couldn't get it out. And I was like, she's like, it's like an exercise bike. I was like, oh, Peloton. She's like, is that a cult?
Yes,
I
it
kid
probably
you not.
is. It probably
I
is. But look,
kid you not.
why'd you
It's a
hate
good one.
What's what we're hating on Peloton for? Yes, I have a Peloton. Yes, it is freaking awesome. And yes, I'm having a great time.
Can
And
I tell
yes, you can find me on Peloton at AJ Bianco. Bring it. Challenge me.
There's such an awesome commercial for Peloton where like
I
the
know.
guy is like riding and then the next day he's doing yoga and then the next day he's doing mindfulness and then like it was just so
Yo, see, Peloton is cool because I think I told you from like jump, the app is what makes everything cool. Because I don't go to a gym anymore. With the 3 little people that I have living in my house, known as my children, there's no time for that. So at night when I come down, I have the Peloton right there.
see, and
You
I
want to
think
give us
so many people
give us a tour of your basement like Al?
Whoop, there it is.
I think-
There's
I think so many
there's
people are
Peloton.
into their Peloton though because they can't go to the gym, not because of the 3 little people
Treadmill.
in their homes, but just is
Treadmill
that a
over there.
Peloton treadmill too?
No.
Oh,
That's
'cause I
actually
know they have both.
That's actually Jamie's treadmill from like years ago.
Okay.
She saved up for that. I saved up for that. And then on the app, it's got all these exercises. So I have my weights, I have my bands, I got my stuff. It's got meditation if you like your yoga. I can't do yoga because I can't sit still.
It's not about
But-
sitting still.
It is.
He's
Yoga?
not flexible enough.
I can't do flexibility things either. I
Oh,
can't even
me
get
neither.
my shoulder doesn't go like above this area. Like I can do this, but like once I go up high, like I can't go anymore.
Can you do, so you can't do that cross thing? Me
No,
neither.
I
But it's-
can't move my shoulder. It'll pop out of place.
You need to do like downward
wrong
dog
with
and
you?
child's pose.
What's wrong with me? 30 years of baseball.
See, this is why sports are no good for people. You turn into a 30-something-year-old man and you're broken.
But I didn't take care of myself.
Just saying.
None of us did.
That's
Paying
true.
for
I
it
wish-
now.
I
Exactly.
wish that like all of my like
if
physical
Dave, I
activity
think
and
Dave's still here.
exercise
Dave,
mindset.
Dave
was
can vouch for that. He's still here. You don't take care of yourself when you're younger and you think you're invincible. So you just keep throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing.
Yeah.
And the next
So
day
you're a
I'll pitch.
30-year-old man with 3 kids and a bicycle in your basement.
Stephanie, I
treadmill.
also use the app for the 2-month free trial, but I only did like 2 workouts. But and I will say they really do have awesome instructors.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Like they're very energetic, and that's what I miss the most about my gym because I loved the instructors at my gym. But I don't know. I don't like riding a bike is not my thing.
I can't run anymore. Like, that's part of it as well. I can't do the running. Like Jamie's got the treadmill. I can't do the running because it hurts my knees. And that's it. She was a track star. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Mike Brilla, if you're still watching, I just want to rub this in your face too.
It's messed up, man. Like the one person who actually likes us.
I think everybody who's watching likes us.
I understand, but I just meant like Mike has gone above and beyond. Not like everybody else hasn't. I'm just saying, like
That's true.
Mike actually like voxes me on the side. Like, hey man, just want to see you.
Look, he listened to the 30 for 30. He listened to your Yankees show. The
No,
name
sorry.
right?
Stacey, here's a
Starting a
bigger
podcast
question.
because of you.
Chase for
Stacey-
what's it? Chase for 29, 30?
Wow.
28.
Thanks, Stacey. You know what?
Thanks, Stacey.
Sta-
Appreciate it.
Nine more.
Stacey,
I remember it's called The Chase.
Stacey, did you listen to 30 for 30?
No, I didn't get that far.
No, it was sports.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It was sports.
But it is also
But it
the
wasn't
least
really
sportsy
sports,
podcast.
Yeah.
All right, which one is it?
It's a 30 for 30.
30 for 30.
What though? 30, like, what's it about?
Just
It's-
listen to it.
Can you just tell her the title at least? So she's
March
gonna
11th,
find it.
2020.
Well, it's on our list. Just find it here.
wow. All of a sudden the Mets fans start making noise. Look at this. Look at Dave. The Mets fans want to talk now all of a sudden.
I'll be that guy. Francisco Lindor is going to break something in spring training. Goodbye.
God. You just wow. The kibosh. We even made the playoffs. We
Is
haven't
this
made it.
about baseball during COVID?
No, it's
No.
how the world reacted. So
Just listen to it.
Sports a little bit. How the world reacted.
The next stop is 161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
All right, I get it. It's about how sports reconsidered all of its stuff.
It's how the world
Yes.
stopped and how sports basically stopped dead in its tracks
Yes.
on that night. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
I was watching that basketball game. I never watched basketball, but something's like, put on the basketball game. And then I watched them.
That was that crazy thing where the basketball player like
Yes.
came back and touched the microphone like a jerk.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Stacey. Listen to it.
Okay. It's on my podcast. It's already downloaded, Chris. I'm gonna listen to it eventually.
There you go. For those of you who are still hanging around, let us know either in the chat which episode did you enjoy that we dropped of our 12 recommendations. Did you like the format of us literally sending you the episodes?
Can I say that was incredibly helpful in that, like, I know we always listen. Like, I always go back and listen to the 12 Days of Podcast PD, what we say, but I don't necessarily go back and look for the episodes that were recommended.
Right.
So that was really cool.
I dig it.
Now you don't have a choice. You don't have to worry about it. It's right there.
Okay, so what is this? He won't break anything until they sign him up.
It's a baseball thing. Just ignore it, Stacey. I'm
Whatever.
laughing.
By the way,
Yeah.
real quick, hold on. I also read an article today that I'll give you some credit, there are like 7 worse contracts besides this Bobby Bonilla contract out there where
Is
people
Mike-
are making more money.
Is Giancarlo Stanton one of them?
No, unfortunately not.
Should be.
All right. So Stephanie is giving us some feedback on our format. She said it's very helpful. She's behind listening, but it's nice to have them there. So
You're welcome.
Wow. That's our boss right there. Man, watch how you talking.
she liked them.
I just said you're welcome. She found it valuable.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Thank you, Rock.
All
What else we got?
right.
Anything else?
I did like leading from the inside out.
What?
What?
Leading from the inside? Wasn't that the name of the show?
Oh, not what I thought you said.
Not what I thought you said.
What did you think I said?
Go ahead,
I
AJ.
thought you said bleeding from the inside. I was like, are you okay?
Okay. Did you get hurt?
Oh my god. No. I
Do you
like
bleed? You will. Sorry. Batman.
I was gonna say, is that a Batman thing? Because you tried to sound like
It is.
Batman, and I thought maybe that's what you were going for.
Wow.
It's Ben Affleck.
Wow.
He's
Computer.
not my favorite.
Lego Batman here.
See, that's when it's appropriate.
Mike also enjoyed the Amber Harper one from The Burned In Teacher.
That was a good one. See, but there were 2 Amber Harper ones. So which one did you like? When she was visiting with Dennis, or when it was her episode with Dave and Aaron?
We're going to need a more complete answer, Michael. Speaking of that, did you guys watch Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy, all that?
I recorded it.
No, I can't. I read his book and I cried. But I read his book before he died, so.
What's really sad is over the last month, Miles, my 8-year-old, for some reason, really got into Jeopardy.
Probably because you're
Like
watching.
he plays Jeopardy with Colton. Like he's like, it's me, the host. Miles. He's a chip off the old block.
You know what's really sad?
What?
Ken Jennings is the host of Jeopardy right now. That's really sad.
Well, he'll be filling in for.
I don't dig him. I signed that petition for LeVar Burton.
Oh,
Ooh,
that would be wonderful.
that would be
Yeah.
so cool.
I signed that petition.
He like one of the categories has to be Reading Rainbow on his first show if he's the host.
Yeah.
And
okay.
and they have to put a Star Trek category in.
Was he on that show?
Oh my God! What?
I don't watch that show.
I didn't watch it either, Stacey, but I kind of.
He was the blind
Dave.
guy. He was
Again.
blind.
Don't watch that show.
Dave.
You did not watch Star Trek: The Next Generation at all.
I didn't watch
No.
a single second of it, Chris.
Wait, which one's the Next Generation? Like I know one of them had
Oh.
Whoopi and like one of them had
One-
like
it's the
William
one with-
Shatner.
It's the one with LeVar Burton.
That one, AJ. Totally didn't see it. I didn't know he was in it. I'm not kidding with you. Like I know him from Reading Rainbow and Roots. Boom, done.
You two suck.
I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm not even a Star Wars fan.
If I like stars, it's Star Wars. No Star Trek. No, what's the other thing that people nerd out about that's different?
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, not that one. No. Is there another one?
Battlestar
Spaceballs.
That's a great one. My favorite.
Spaceballs is fine. No, not Battlestar Galactica. Chris just said that. Isn't there Star Trek and then something else?
Star Trek, Star Wars.
That's it. There's no.
No,
other.
there was another one. I know what you're talking
What?
about. It's like Voyager or something like that.
That was Star Trek Voyager.
No, it's not it. Then there's something else. I feel like there was one. What's the one that they're
Help
always
us
watching
out in the chat.
What's the one that
What's
always
the
watching?
other nerdy space show that's out there?
No. They used to watch one on Big Bang all the time.
Yeah, they were more into Star Trek.
No. Yes, but there was one that they always joked on because it ended like I don't know. I can't remember.
They talked about how Indiana Jones was pointless, which I thought was awesome. Makes me want to go back and
Great
watch.
clip.
I love that show.
I don't know the clip. I don't know the clip. I need context.
Maya Bialik is telling Sheldon. You're familiar with Big Bang, though, right?
I've watched probably every episode, more than once.
Okay.
You don't remember that one? Because my mind was blown.
It's not hitting.
So there's a scene.
Firefly. That's one of them. Firefly. Thank you, Stephanie.
So AJ, there's a scene where
Nathan
Amy Farrah Fowler is telling Sheldon that after he made her watch it, that she's like, if Indiana Jones wasn't in the movie, it would have turned out the same.
Exactly the same.
The Nazis still would have got the art. That everything would have happened exactly the same.
And then
Indiana Jones played no point in the movie.
Wow.
And he's like, but, and then Leonard said something, and she's like, yeah, but, and he's like, ugh. And then they both just like are defeated.
I think I have to kind of.
And now I feel like I need to go back and watch.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. All right, let's leave these people alone. It's an hour and a half into the show. They probably have better things to do than sit here and listen to us talk about nothing.
Okay, everybody, thanks for coming out in the chat. Your homework is coming to you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.